right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Noam. This is the Monday Mastermind training call, February 24th, 2025, AM edition. And today we are going to start down what will be part one of probably two parts, I bet, of breaking the bundle and talking about security and streaming TV and kind of what to do when somebody says, yeah, I'm in a contract with all the bundle, or I'm bundled up with everything, and I'm happy with it, or XYZ. I'm not going to switch right now because of I'm in the bundle and I can't get out. That's what they always say. And I can't get out. Well, they can pretty easy actually. So we're going to get them out of it. And those people, especially when there's older folks, when basically they don't really even care about the internet, they don't even use the internet at all, but they just need TV. So really, you have to sell them TV, even though we don't make commission on it, in order to sell them the internet that you're going to make your commission on, right? They could care less about the internet. But if you can sell them on the TV, they're going to get the internet because they want the TV is what's important. So we're going to talk the next week or two about how to, recognize this kind of situation before it even happens. When they haven't said, hey, I'm in the bundle and I'm not going to get out of it. How do you even know you're dealing with this? And then, whether you realize it or they just straight tell you, what do you do to get them all the way wrapped around? Actually, yeah, I do want it. So that's what we're going to go into. And it's kind of cool because I've been making some notes on this. And what we've been going over the last couple weeks is kind of builds up and ties into this, because some of the main tactics we're going to use are things we went over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks on overcoming objections. So it's all going to kind of weave right together here. So, and, before we get into the details, let's just back up a minute and, remember, every week we got to remember the basics where we started. There's only so many things we can control. Every day we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff we can't control. From nobody's home in the neighborhood or whatever to, it seems like I keep going the opposite way of that landscaping crew, but they just freaking keep going to the house next to me, and I can't I got to talk to a neighbor without the lawnmower in the background. I'm going nuts, right? Or to whatever the problem is that we can't control, let's focus on every day. What can I control? What can I master today? Where can I excel? And just move in that direction and put all our energy there. So that's, just to remind everybody. And also, we're going in service. We're helping people out. We're on their side, helping them get away from that, which is harming them, which is the other company, whether or not they realize it yet or not. Our body language is most of what is selling this product. How we're talking to them with confidence and assuming the sale before it ever happened. We're not here to discuss them signing up. That's happening. It's just a matter of, did you have any questions left and which day is best? Because anyone who can think is going to sign up. So I'm not even considering that we're going into that, right? Obviously, you're signing up. So all this kind of energy you bring to the door, and then there's 10% of it is actually what's the offer, right? So, and that brings me to, we got to remember, the people in general that we're going to sell to at the door are not people who are buying this because of the information. If they were going to buy it based on the price, the better terms, the faster speed, the blah, 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 all the features and benefits, they would have done it the first 10 times the company mailed them. They read the paper. They know they're paying $325 a month for a bundle. They realize this would only be $80, and it's faster and it's better and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But for whatever reason, their brain cannot compute to just do it, right? So everyone whose brain could compute that this is good already has it. They're the ones who called in, whose house does not have a dot on our sales rabbit. So we're dealing with inherently a subset of people who couldn't look at the information and make a good decision. So we're going into, every door to most, a lot of them, right? There's going to be people who are wanting to sign up, right? Or since that point in time, the neighbors have changed their mind and now they're more ready. There's a lot of those. But in general, the whole subset of people that we're talking to are people who didn't sign up on many, many, many opportunities to do so already. And so A, we got to have a little compassion for them. B, we also have to understand that they couldn't make a decision for themselves in the first place. And so I'm not here to give you an opportunity to not make a decision again. I'm coming here showing you what the best decision is, and I'm going to help you see it clearly so that you go ahead and make it as well. But I am understanding that I'm going to have to help make that decision for you because I don't really trust that you're going to just do it, right? For a lot of these folks. So, there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on when we're at a door, right? Um, and we need to remember, always those areas of belief, the 7 areas of belief: the company, the product, the system, the duplicity, the ISP we're selling for, the fiber internet as a product in general. And the more we have those areas of belief really intact, the more confidently and assertively and assumptively we can go to every door that, you know, obviously you're getting it. I'm just here to figure out what day because we never heard from you yet, like everybody else. I was going over the notes for today with my lady, and she stopped. She said, is it just something like I don't know? Like, do you guys really have to explain all this to people at the door and they like ask you all these questions? I mean, how is there anybody that aren't just like, yeah, let's just get it? Like, it doesn't make any sense to do anything but just say, like, let's just get it. I'm like, no, this is really the whole deal. She's like, there's really a free month? Yeah. And they really don't give you, like, they don't have to pay? Like, how can anyone even ask you a question? Like, what kind of freaking husband would not just buy that and tell you he has to ask his wife? What a loser. Like, this is an insane deal, guys. Like, we shouldn't have to even explain this or overcome any objections to anyone because all people should say is, wow, this is a great deal. How soon can I get it? It's the only thing we should be hearing all day based on the information. But unfortunately, we live in the real world. And so 80% of this is BS because people can't make a choice. So, and one of the hardest, and so now getting to what we're talking about, like, I can't even believe we have to, like, sell this to people because it just makes no sense to do anything but get it. One of the hardest things is breaking that bundle. And sometimes you're in a whole neighborhood where the whole freaking neighborhood is on the bundle, especially when it's older folks. And sometimes in those neighborhoods, you're like, dude, like everybody's on the bundle. Like, shit, like screw this. Like, I just want to get, you're calling your manager, like, can you give me some other area? Like, nobody over here is buying internet. They all need 100 megabit a second. Freaking, it's like stupid. I'm going to make $40 out here today. Like, I got to get out of here, right? But that is reacting to all the things you can't control. Like, these guys are all old and they don't care about the internet. That's true. They're old. They really don't care about the internet. And they don't even need the freaking internet. But you know what they need the internet for is to watch TV. And you know what they care about a lot is TV. And you know what's going to make their decision on whether or not they're going to buy your internet is how easy you can make it for them to, at least how easy it feels for the TV upgrade. Okay? So within all of this madness, we still have to be masters at overcoming the confusion of these people and helping them arrive to clarity. So with compassion and being in service, even though we may think this is just the dumbest crap ever to have to keep explaining this, we got to go to every door and just treat them like kids, treat them like kindergartners, treat them like your own grandma, and make it clear of what's happened before, what's happening now, and what's about to happen because of it. Always what happened, what's happening, what's going to happen. Always stay on that, right? And you're going to be like, dude, I can close every single old person that didn't get it from the last guy because the TV. Once you unlock this code, you can go through it and like freaking close 8 out of 10 old people. And if you slow down and you're not the guy who's there, man, we got the fiber. I know the TV, yeah, but we just need to get the internet on today. And you're like focused on the internet. You're going so fast and going on. And you're obviously selling something. They're never going to get it. But when you unlock the code of, hey, Greta, love the flowers out here, by the way. The pink is just favorite color for me, too. Anyway, my name's Noam. I'm on the fiber utility. They did want me to stop back down here today and blah, 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 blah. We're going to go into what blah, 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 blah is and a few ways to do it. But slow down. If this was literally your grandma, how would you talk to her? You need to talk to every old person at the door like it's actually your grandma. When you do that alone, your completion ratio is going to instantly go up. Talk to them like your grandma. Case in point, it's about 4 months ago. I'm up in Seattle. I'm selling Ziply. Knock, knock. Old lady comes to the door. She's shaking right there. She's so old, the sweet lady, right? She's literally trembling. And so, I give her the pitch. I'm out here on I'm already like, dude, I just got to get out of here. Like, I shouldn't even sell this lady. I mean, I'm not even convinced that even if she was dying for it, she really even knows what's going on. Like, I'm basically like, how nice can I be, but get out of here as quick as possible and just get to a door that I can sell, and it seemed like a tight knit community. So it's not like I was just going to like be like, I could have been like, oh my God, wrong address, but it was too late for that. And now we were talking. And so I realized, shoot, like I got to have a mini convo and get out of here. Right. Well, it ends up she's dying for it. She wants it. She hates the TV. She doesn't want to pay $285 for the TV internet bundle or whatever they've got her worked up to off the, she's off of the contract now, and the price is skyrocketing every month. And so we go through the whole thing. She's trying to sign up for a 1 gig with VoIP, and I just said, ma'am, it sounds like you really want it. Um, you know, I just want to make sure this is the right thing for you to do. Just because, I know you're older and everything. I want to save you money. This is going to save you money. But, do you have like a daughter or a son or, just somebody that kind of deals with this sort of stuff and helps you do it and everything? Because maybe we could just get their number. I could give them a call tonight or something and just make sure this is really what is best for you over here before we just get you all signed up and get these guys adding stuff to your house or whatever. Because I was like, this lady's going to be like, God bless her heart, probably gone in the next couple of years. Like, does it really matter, or whatever, right? So, and if she's like hell bent on this one show and like for some reason the streaming TV didn't have it, like, I don't want to take it away from her. I don't need this freaking commission. I don't care. Like, let's just help the lady. So she's like, oh, yeah, my son does. And let me go get a piece of paper and I'll write his number down for you. You know, so she's starting to turn around. I say, oh, great. Well, her son's been on the ring the whole time. He just cuts in. Actually, I'm right here on the ring. I've been watching the whole time. Since you've been so nice to my mom and didn't push her to buy all this stuff, and actually because you were not even going to let her sign up and ask for my number, I decided to go ahead and cut in. I've been looking at it for her. Actually, I'm over there a bunch. Can we just go ahead and get the 2 gig? I'll give you all my info now. Can we just do it on the ring and schedule it for like Thursday or whatever it was? Boom, done. 2 gig and a VoIP down the drain. Perfect. All because I didn't even sell the lady. If I would have been rude, pushy, fast, that guy would have cut in on the ring and said, hey, mom, we're going to talk about this later. Just get this guy's number. And he never would have called me back and they never would have got it. Right? So there's 2 ways that could have gone because I was nice and I was in service. Not only did I get the sale, it upgraded all the way to a 2 gig. So, keep that with you, that my little story, if that has any meaning for you when you're out there with the old people. And yeah, it is going to take longer. It's going to take like 20 minutes at every door. But if they go through all that with you, these people are old school. They are a handshake is everything. Looking in your eye and telling you, I'm signing up, they're going to do it. When you go, I've had a few canceled. You're going to have a few canceled. But the ratio of people that are older who spend that time with you to get the whole sale done, they're going to get the install and they want to save that money. Like they rarely are going to cancel the whole thing after they did all that. So time to install, completion ratio, etc. Like it can be worth it to just do the whole neighborhood, right? And as you do this more, what you will learn as much as we don't want to discriminate or whatever, there's all types of people, right? And we have to deal with them all differently. There's the super rich dudes in the mansions with the Lambos, right? If you mention price to them, it's insulting. They're just into convenience and speed, and the neighbors did it. And you need the best gear like your car in your house. Why do you not have the best internet? You got the people at the trailer park that they don't care what the speed or anything is. They just need the cheapest deal they can get. You got the people that are older that just need the TV to be best so they can even buy the internet so you can get your commission. And then you have different like ethnicities of people. If you go into a community that's all Indian people from India, right, there's a very specific way you have to sell them. If you can crack that code, all of them will sign up for you. They'll call you before you even go there. Easiest thing in the world. If you do it wrong at one door, they're going to WhatsApp everyone and the whole neighborhood is burnt. They won't even open the door. You're done, right? So there's all these different types of ways to sell the different demographics of people, right, and help them see the clarity where they had before, based on the information, not been able to figure out this was the best move. Okay. So let's basically, we're going to move into the details. Keith, you got anything to Shares Keith on here. Keith had to get off. He's in and out in the mornings. Okay. But anybody questions on this before we move on? Comments, topics? Otherwise, we're going to go into like exactly what is known.
Now, I have a question. So the 2 gig that pays more?
Well, it depends what company. I mean, at that point, on Ziply, you know, I was paying my guys 25 more for a 2 gig. So I'm paying myself 25 more for a 2 gig.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
It just depends on the IS. It depends on the ISP. Like Fiber First doesn't even have a 2 gig. I don't think. You know, some of these ISP. Oh, they do. Okay, I haven't sold Fiber First in the field, so it just depends. Like, because I'm the way that I pay is I pay my guys different than everybody else slightly or whatever. I made my own thing up, which honestly Bryce hates because it's super confusing. And I'm probably going to have to homogenize soon because it's kind of getting gooped up. But I have been paying my guys 25 more for a 2 gig for just, you know, incentivize them. But either way, like,
okay,
I got the sale was the point of that. Yeah. So
yeah, well, nice job. I was just curious.
So yeah. I just eat it, but it just incentivizes the guys, you know. So I've worked for ISPs where the ISP even paid more, you know. But yeah, we're on a blanket, but within your own organization, if you want to do whatever with the guys, just for whatever you can do it, you know. So anyway, yeah, good question. Anybody else? Okay, fair enough. And honestly, I just get the stack and pay the guys. So realistic, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't get $25 more or anything more for the 2 gig. I just get the same on every freaking deal. But the ISP I worked for before I was a manager, where I was just selling for somebody else, they paid me 25 more for 2 gig. So in my mind, 2 gig is always worth more. But you know, it may or may not be. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's like $115 versus 75. So
yeah,
and I think I can sell more ISPs in my area, but the only one I've been working is the area that has Fiber First. So just kind of stay in my lane.
I mean, there's ups and downs to everything. The grass is always greener where you water it. So, you know, it depends. I was selling Fidium and yeah, I could do 22 a day, like almost every single freaking day for like 3 months in a row and never did less than 10 or 12 ever for months on end. I mean, insanity. 110 installs a month, 140 sales a month is what I was doing all year last year, guys. 120 sales, 110 sales, 137 sales a month for about 90 to 115 installs per month, guys. Every single freaking day. No exaggeration. And I've thought about it. It's kind of, I don't want to be too showboaty, but I have the thread of the tracker from last year still on my WhatsApp. I can go show you guys, 16, 15, 11, 18, 19, 17, 14, 26, every single freaking day back to back. There's not a single day in there. It's like 3 ever, you know. Fidium didn't get them all in, right? But I mean, because their installers sucked. So that's what my point is. Grass is, you know, I might have been making more money had I sold 12 Fiber First and they all went in. So it just depends. But anyway,
sure.
Definitely possible, guys. Definitely possible to go out there and do 15 every single freaking day in 4 or 5 hours for an hour. Just, you can do it. Every single
Let me just acknowledge the space where I'm at, because it's like I'm talking to you and then there's this cartoon cow and everybody else is just names. So
yeah,
it would be actually pretty dope to see who the hell is on these calls. Like I showed you my plants. I showed you my house.
If you guys are on here,
I want to see people.
Show us your pretty faces, you know, or whatever. If you got a bunch of guys, whatever, just throw it in the living room. Totally agree.
Kind of weirds me out that
Kevin's getting weirded out, guys.
I'm getting weirded out, and I don't know if you give a shit about who Kevin is, but I am getting weirded out, and I'm a person. So here we are.
He loves it. Look at that. We got clouds on here. Love it. See, you guys are all good-looking, styling G-dogs anyway. You want to get your photo on here. So, you never know who's going to be watching these replays. And they're going to be like, dang, who was that guy watching that thing? I got to get his number or whatever, you know. So, I mean, there could be added benefits later or whatever. These are being replayed, hypothetically. All right, well, love it. Kevin, you're continually appreciated more than you realize, brother. So hopefully you can feel it. But thank you for showing up on here with your face. So 100%. So, and I understand some of you guys are like in the bathroom and brushing your teeth and you got your headphones on. Like, do what you got to do. Just get on here. But yeah, if you get on, or you put in them or you get out, bottom line. All right, so let's keep moving here. Details, guys. So I don't really have like, I mean, I have more than we can go over today already typed up here of notes, but like when I'm looking at all my notes, what I'm seeing is there's really only like a few main points, and then there's kind of like, depending on exactly how it goes down, there's like a few ways to go through those points. Okay. So it's kind of the same thing over and over, but like, as you know, it's like if A, then B, if B, then C, if C, then D, but if C again, then E, and you start to go down this tree of like, how do you get them back to let's sign you up right now? The main thing though is so you're gonna have those doors where like the neighborhood's like a normal neighborhood where you have a lot of people that kind of want it. You got a lot of people that are on the edge, like normal aged, mid-aged families. They have kids. There's a couple old people. There's a couple young folks, but like a normal age demographic. Okay. So let's leave that aside for a minute. Not talking about those where you're expecting to sell the internet. They open the door and they say, "Hey, we're in a bundle, so we can't do it right now." Right? Not those ones, but let's just go to a little bit of a different scenario where maybe you have a duplex community, or maybe you're even in condos, or you're on one of these MDUs, or you're just in a regular, part of town, but maybe it's the older part of town, and so it's mostly older folks. And that, I mean, right, based on the landscaping, the little statues and the stuff in the yard and the doilies in the window, like, right, you should be able to tell the age and the demographic of who's going to open that door before you even go into their yard based on everything about their house, right? Once you do this long enough, most of you guys know, you relatively have a really good idea of like the age, the religion, the attitude, everything, even the job of who's coming to the door based on the way their house, their yard, their porch looks, how well is it swept, everything, right? So you kind of know, and you're looking at these houses and you're like, dude, these guys are all like 70 or older. Oh my God, right? This is just going to take forever. So when you're going into those kind of neighborhoods, we want to go back to the overcoming objections. And the main thing is start with the main objection. Lead with that. Don't wait till later for them to bring it up that they don't care about internet and that they just need their TV to be good TV. That's what they're going to say. So you lead with that. Now they have hardly anything left to tell you as an objection because that was like their whole big ammo. That was all their ammo in one. So I would say something like, knock, knock, knock. Yeah, hey, sorry to be a bother. I'm out here on the fiber utility today. Reason I'm out, we are going to be on a route over to work on the boxes. Handful of folks somehow never even got the upgrade connected to the house. So they did send me over here because I guess you guys are one of the ones that got missed last year. So sorry about that. But we hadn't heard back from you from all that mail we've been sending out. Not sure if you guys just missed it or what happened, but everybody else is on the schedule. Hadn't heard from you guys, so we did need to know if you wanted to do Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week. And this is just for the upgrade on the whole internet TV system over there for you. Now, I know the fiber internet, the faster, more affordable internet for you guys down here is a no-brainer. Everybody wants that, right? Doesn't make sense. But I do understand the reason a lot of the folks down here had been waiting to go ahead and make the upgrade was just they didn't understand how the TV was going to switch. And I know that what's really more important for you guys is having that TV reliable and crystal clear. You probably don't even use much internet. So, I know, it makes sense to save money on it if you're not using very much. But anyway, bottom line, ma'am, is that the last year or so, because of everybody down here, we've figured out now how to get that fiber cable that replaces that old coax cable you're on now right into the house for you. The experience is the same as what you have now. Background colors look like a different color, but like basically it all works the same. We've got every channel you've got now. We've got everything that you're going to want to watch. The only difference is you're going to finally get rid of that buffering wheel. And I do this real slow with my finger. You get that buffering wheel. Yeah, I can like do my whole body with it. Right. Yeah. So that'll be gone. It'll probably seem like your TV doesn't even do it anymore. Like it's just the function doesn't even work. And it'll be more clear. All the DVR, the recording, the fast forwarding commercials, all those features you have now, we've got them all, just more of them, and they're easier to use. So now that all that's been figured out and there's nothing left to even talk about, since the internet is obvious, because I just said it was and you didn't disagree with me, we're just going to pick a day and go ahead and get you done like everybody else who's gone ahead and gotten on the schedule since the TV part is all figured out. Now, obviously, okay, so that's done. Now, you're not going to say all that, right? You got to get it down to one nice little chunk. I just gave you like all the variables in one. But the bottom line is what we're doing is we're leading with their primary objection, so they don't have it left. In the same exact phrasing, we're isolating their only remaining objection and basically inside out asking them, if I were to take this away, would you go ahead and sign up? And then there's really not much left to do but just do it. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to want to know about this and that and the other thing. But I find when I slow way down, I lead with, I know the internet for less money, since you don't even use it over here. That's a no-brainer for everybody. Most folks down here have been waiting since last year because the TV was a little hard for them to figure out. That's all been taken care of. So that's why we're coming through again, and everybody else is going to get done now. We just hadn't heard from you, so we wanted to know if it was going to be which day for you. Wanted to make sure it was convenient since we are coming asking to get it done. Just that. That's all you need for the whole pitch. And then see what they say. Oh, you got the TV figured out? Because that is, I don't even use the internet. TV's figured out, man. Only difference is it's clearer. It's going to be instantaneous and just costs way less. Right? So then I would go on to the next thing I would say, which is bandwagon. Right? This is a little bit of everything. You kind of got to get like all these other little things that we've been talking about the last few weeks in order, because now to do this break the bundle, you're going to need to use all of them at once. So I was just down at Susie and Bob's, like, what is that, four-door, like with the big truck down there? Right, yeah. I talked to them last, 6 months ago. You know, they were the same as you, internet, no brainer, but they're just, Bob was so into his TV, they just, they weren't ready to make the upgrade. Anyway, we were actually out here doing like a little bit of work like a couple months back. We did go ahead and get them upgraded. They they felt like, they weren't sure if it was really going to work, and probably the fiber cable was not going to be easy to navigate and stuff, and they were going to probably end up just going back to the cable, paying more, even though they couldn't afford it, but just because they're used to it. But you know what they found? They actually found it was as easy as I said. It was actually easier than they thought. What they love is that no matter where they go, if they're seeing the grandkids or they're waiting at the doctor's appointment, they can just keep watching their TV for one subscription anywhere they want, not just at the house. Super convenient. And the bottom line is we got them out of their whole bundle. They had the internet, the TV, and the security, just like you do, and the landline phone. They had 4 things just like you. You're probably paying like what, $285, $325, something like they were. $315, yeah. So we were able to get them out for about half. I think it was like $160, $75 a month or something. All the channels they want. They added a couple of security channels, but it's just clearer and faster now because it's running on the fiber, which is how security is meant to be run. It's part of what, I won't bore you with the details of it all, but your cameras over here are probably pretty glitchy. Yeah, they're blurry. Yeah. I noticed when I rang the doorbell, it didn't even make noise for like 30 seconds. So I'd hate to have my security running on that kind of system. But anyway, we got them out for about half. They're pumped. They turned everything else off. And so, if we can get you done, go ask them about it or whatever after I get you on the map. If you need to just, talk about it before we get you done next week or something with somebody. But we'll get you down now, put you down for whatever day you like. And then, I'm 100% confident you're going to find the same thing as them, is that making this upgrade was best choice you've made in a while or whatever, right? And if you need to do something there, throw in a little brand in. Like, remember when your phone went from like the 3G to the 4G and then to the 5G, and now you just have better service? Like, they didn't even tell you. They just did it. Like, we're telling you because we have to like bury it at the house and stuff and then, put it through the wall. But like, this is just an upgrade that's happening. As soon as you do it, you're going to be better off. You're going to be happier. There's really very little difference. Okay, so here's a bunch of answer, but lead with the objection, isolate, and then bandwagon what the neighbors who felt the same as you, who have the same bundle as you, they already did it, and here's what they found, and we saved them half. And then if they're still not convinced, which I don't know how you couldn't be, but people aren't, hit them with a Bryce one-liner. Ma'am, the thing is, what we find is talking to the neighbors down here, people really just don't care who they pay for their TV and their internet and their security. They just want the best value for the money. And most of you guys, obviously down here, you're not working anymore. You're not bringing in a bunch of income. And every dollar you have saved is precious to you. So if we can save you $1,500 a year while upgrading the quality of your service, That's why everybody down here is also doing it. Because why would you just give Comcast an extra $1,000 for service that isn't as good as what you want or could be having? That just doesn't make any sense when you're not still working, right? Whatever. If you really want to save that money, give it to your grandkids or give it to the kids at your church or whatever. But like, you don't need to be giving it to Comcast for service that doesn't have the value. And everybody else over here felt the same, and that's why we're going to go ahead and finish up all the rest of the houses down here next week, including yours. So all these little one-liners they've been learning can be good because these people should not be very hard to close. Once you can show them the reality of, I'm going to charge you this, you're paying this, and here's the difference per year. You don't make any money, lady, by the way, as you know. So by the end of 10 years from now, do you want to spend $15,000 extra for crappy TV? Or do you want to switch now? And the bottom line is people will say, well, here's what they say, as you guys know, I can't switch. I'm all bundled up, so I can't switch. When did Comcast hire psychologists to brainwash people into thinking they can't switch? They say it as though they're like scared, like the dudes are going to come into black SUVs in the night if they get unbundled and like take them away, like you can switch. So this leads me to another point. You need to know your competition's cancellation policy exactly, what they charge, how they charge it, when they charge it, why they charge it, so you can do the math at the door quickly for the customer and show them that you know far more about this than them. And while they're convinced they can't get out of a bundle, you're going to say something like, I understand it sounds like you can't get out of the bundle. Here's the thing. I do this all day. A lot of people down here were in that same bundle that you had, Comcast or Spectrum or whatever. They definitely want you to feel like you can't get out of it. Reality is you can. It's pretty simple, to be honest. They just will never tell you about it, right? You just have to go ahead and do it for yourself. Now, what we do is we just get you scheduled. We'll get the internet in. We get it up and working. Probably the same day or the day after it's in and on. You'll go ahead and turn off that other service. You can't call them. They're not going to answer. As soon as you tell them you're thinking about switching, they're either going to offer you some insane deal and come out here and want to pressure wash your driveway and clean your car for you, and make you all these promises. And then as soon as that little 6-month period is done, they are going to absolutely destroy you on your monthly bill. Or they're just going to put you on hold for the rest of the day and they're going to intentionally never pick up. So you can't do it on the phone. They took the option to cancel away on the internet. Can't do it there. You're going to have to get the gear, put it in a laundry basket, march it down to the store. Don't ask them for anything. Just tell them, I'm done. It's been real. Cash me out. I'm paying my final bill. Here's the gear. And that's it. Don't even try to sell me. I don't have time to talk to you. I'm going to pay you out and I'm out of here. So depending on the vibe of the person, I'll give that to them in a way that seems like the way they would do it, like if they're like a surfer versus if they're a grandma, I'm going to tell them in a different way. But I say, you're going to get that in a laundry basket. You're going to march it down there and you're going to plop it on the counter and say, it's been real. Cash me out. I'm done. Don't let them sell you. Don't let them wash your car. It's all a bunch of lies. Because they knew, and then here's a little one-liner, because Comcast or Spectrum or Cox, they know that as soon as you try fiber once, you will never go back. Boom, drop the mic. So just leave it with them, and you're gonna be on. In most cases, the neighbors that I helped out over here in the neighborhood, they are in the black on the month by the end of the first month, and absolutely by the end of the second month in nearly every single case I've ever dealt with, which is hundreds of neighbors over here, to be honest. And that's including all the cancellation fees that you might pay to get out of your contract if you're in one, and setting up the new gear with Fire Sticks or anything else that you might need for your TVs, because you're going to get rid of all those boxes all over the house and go to a wireless system that looks a lot nicer. Okay. All of the hardware included, all the cancellation fees included, nearly everybody is either the same or in the black on the first month, absolutely by the second, and by the third month, you guys are probably going to save 40 to 60% of what you're paying right now every month for the rest of your life for better TV, 10 times faster internet, which you may or may not need, clearer VoIP phone, so you have a better landline phone at the house. And if you want security, ma'am, it doesn't even run on this old copper coax you have. So I can show you how. We can talk about cameras and stuff, but if you actually want security on your house, you're going to need to get it on fiber. And there's all these other companies that you're going to be able to get it from. Here, let me give you a list. In fact, I'll text you a list of my favorites when I send you my information and my e-card after we get you on the schedule, after we get you on the map, right? Always hold that stuff to after we're on the map, then I'll give you all that stuff you want, but not before. Okay, so point there was expressing to them in general how, while it feels like they can't get out of the contract, while it feels like they'd have to spend a bunch of money to do this, the reality is we're giving it to you for nothing, no money on the table. And literally, if you want to do the math with me step by step, I'll show you how by the end of the first or first and a half month, you will be in the black forever on this choice. So if you aren't ready yet because your family's trying to save money, then you should not let me leave this door without signing up right now if you are trying to save money, or you're actually not trying to save money. You're trying to talk about saving money. Whatever, all these reasons, right? So that, and then what I'm saying is like, I don't know all the other ones, to be honest, but I know Comcast. Their contract, it's $10 a month for every remaining month to break it. They say, well, I don't know, I pay $225, but I'm on a contract. I just signed up. I got 23 months left, so I'm gonna just wait it out. Bro, that is the most ridiculous idea ever. The faster that you get on the fiber, the more money you save. There is no scenario mathematically in which you can save money by waiting a second longer to get on fiber. Okay, great. 23 months left. So what do you owe this month? $225. Okay, you were going to pay that anyway. Why don't we get the fiber installed so you can have it on before your Comcast bills again next month? So the only thing you have to do to pay out to get out of that thing is the cancellation fee. Now I know they don't even tell you this. It's because they don't even want you to know how easy it is to turn that thing off. They don't even want you to know how easy it is to turn that contract off, right? Feels like you can't get out of it. I hear you feeling stressed about it, but reality is I do this all day. This is my job. I just helped like 5 people down here do the same thing. It's not a big deal. It's $10 a month for every remaining month. But it always is, no more, no less. It's exactly that. That's just what it is. So you're gonna take your gear back. They're gonna say, but you have to break a contract. You're gonna say, great, I know. I want to pay you. I don't care. They're gonna say, well, you got 23 months left. That's gonna be $230. So you're gonna pay them out the $230. Well, guess what? You're paying $70 a month now for the internet, and realistically, you watch 3 channels of TV. So we're going to put you on a basic Hulu for $39, and now for $110 a month at $115 a month of savings, you're all set up again. So by the second month, when you save $115 again, right? Now you will have saved $230 by the end of the second month, exactly what it cost you to break that contract. And by the third month, you're just going to save money every month for better quality TV over here. Does that make sense for you guys to save about $1,000 by the end of the year to up the quality? Not to mention, we're doing these things for free, and it does add some serious value to the house. Will we ever charge? I don't know, but I can tell you that it's never going to get a better deal than free. That's why everybody else over here who's even mildly ready to just give the fiber cable TV a try is going to at least get this thing in now. And like I said, reality is you're going to try it. You're going to love it. Let's just get you done. Okay. So you need to honestly be able, in my opinion, to add up exactly what they're going to be charged by the company to get them out of their contract. Because if you can't, what they'll say a lot of times is, hey, I'll call into Comcast. I'll see if I can get out of it. I'll see what it's going to cost. If you want to shoot yourself in the foot, you can just stay at home and do it. Because what's going to happen is, if they do that, is Comcast is going to offer them some insane deal for $35 a month for the internet and the TV for a year just to keep them, right? So, bottom line is all these copper companies that don't have fiber, they are going out of business every single day. So what are they going to do? They're going to just straight lie and charge people anything just to get any more money they can until eventually the shareholders decide that the loss to profit ratio is no longer worth ripping everybody off, and then they're just going to turn it off. That's going to be it, in my opinion. Maybe Bryce has a better opinion, but that's what's going to happen in my opinion. And suddenly Tuesday morning, everybody with Comcast, Spectrum, and Cox is going to wake up and it's just off. Cost of maintaining it is no longer worth it. That's it, right? So, you cannot let the customer call into their current provider before you get them installed. You want to tell them after it's installed, you just take the gear, put it in a laundry basket, and march it down there. You don't want them to ever call the provider. ever, because that's going to result in promos and they could cancel your order, right? So everything you're lining up to do also is after. Anyway, and we're getting probably about to the end of our time. I have so much left. Obviously we're going next week on this, but and we need to talk about the whole section of people who are not old people. And then that can become more complicated. And we're going to talk a lot about security and how to really push and sell the security that we don't even sell, to get them to buy the internet, right? With the old folks, it's really more about selling the TV. Okay, let me at least go into this, because you guys should be using this starting today with any old people you get. I found this to be an absolute gold. They're on, as far as they know, they're on cable TV, right? And they've probably heard of streaming TV, and they're immediately adverse to it. It's like rotten food in their mouth, and they want to spit it out. They accidentally ate it. Like as soon as you say streaming TV, yeah, we're good. No, streaming TV. I don't do that. I'm a cable. I'm a real American over here. I watch cable TV, football, Sunday 3 p.m. Channel 47. I was born on 47. I'm gonna die on Channel 47, boy. You know, right? They do not want to hear about streaming TV. So guess what you do is we don't offer streaming TV. I don't have streaming TV. I never heard of streaming TV. Streaming TV with an old person does not come out of my mouth. With a 25 to 45-year-old, absolutely. You get them over 50 years old. What we've done right now, you guys are on the the copper cable. That's what you've been on, where the copper line comes into the house, and then the TV comes through the line, and then it comes out the TV. All we're doing now is when we upgrade the internet to the fiber internet, we just upgrade the cable to the fiber cable instead of the copper cable. So instead of that copper line coming in and then the TV comes out, we just have a fiber line coming in and the TV comes out. Same technology, it just runs clearer and faster for you, and it just happens to cost a lot less, So double win for you guys. Still the same thing you have. It's just we just call it fiber cable. They were calling it streaming before when it was still in development. That's why most folks down here have been waiting. But now that it's all, perfected, the fiber cable is ready for everybody, and everybody's that didn't before has gone ahead and got set up for an appointment next week. Now that TV's been figured out. So do the same thing again you did at the very beginning. Explain to them that now that the fiber cable's totally figured out, and I know that before when it was the streaming TV, it was kind of hard. Throw the streaming TV under the bus. Fiber cable, same as you have now on the copper cable. It's just a different line. We're just upgrading the line, but it just goes in the line to your house, right? That makes sense. You're already on streaming TV. You're on copper streaming TV. We're just putting you on fiber streaming TV, which Gnome calls fiber cable to make old people understand it. And so the stuff that's done, let's get you done. But my advice is don't tell older folks streaming TV. Tell older folks fiber cable, because they've never heard of it. It sounds like cable, but it sounds like upgraded cable. Now this actually starts to sound pretty good. You're telling me they mastered fiber cable and I can get everything I have now but clearer and cheaper? Well, shit, I would do that. Streaming TV, that's for young kids and on your phone, or I don't know, I don't understand it, and all these apps, and you probably have to log in or something. Good Lord. But if you're telling me they have fiber cable, it's exactly the same as I have now, and I can just sit on my couch. I say, this is what it's going to look like once we get you installed. It's all set up. You've done nothing to get installed. You're going to crack a beer. You're going to sit down on your couch, take a sip. You're going to hit the power button on your remote. It's going to look exactly like it does now, but a different color. And you're going to pick a channel, and you're going to watch it. Do you think you could do that on fiber cable? Would that be simple enough for you? They're like, well, I could do that. I could crack a beer and just hit on. I thought it was like really complex. No, ma'am. It's new. So everybody's, sounds like a spaceship. Reality is you're going to crack a beer, sit on the couch, hit the power button, and the TV just comes on like it always did. Not a big deal. Fiber cable, it's been great for everybody down here, because most of the folks that didn't get it last year just because of this, man, they're pumped about it. Everybody who's already been doing it, Susie and Bob down there, like I was mentioning. So, yeah, luckily for you, you were here, so we can get you on the calendar. I mean, shoot, I could have missed you today, and you could be suffering for another year if we even come back here at all. So, call it fiber cable, and I think you're going to be like, holy crap, that works. You call it streaming, you just feedback. You guys notice older folks, you say streaming, they are done. They're like, no, we do cable. So you got to kind of trick them. You guys haven't seen that? No? I've seen it like 1,000 times. And when I stopped saying streaming TV and I started calling it fiber cable, results went way up. So, So yeah, okay. I got more. The other thing with old people too, I'll just give you a couple little more here, is I try to, this is good for everybody, but especially old people, especially on the bundle, is when they're on the bundle, they're a little hell-bent that they're like, with Comcast, I've been with Comcast for 47 years. They would never charge me too much. I'm their specialist customer. You know, they might feel loyal to the old provider because they're old and they've been with them so long. So don't say switch. We're not here to switch your TV. We're here to upgrade your system. We're going to upgrade your system. So that's a little, that works on most people anyway. Switch is never good. People don't want to be switched or sold. But if we're going to upgrade your system, well, that sounds a little bit enticing. So upgrade, not switch. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on that. And then we'll start off next week. And I have just a whole bunch more. And then we'll go back through and tie it all together and like wrap it all together again, because there's some things we're going to get into, like on the security, for example, if they're still paying off their gear from their original provider, like that could be a problem that could shut down the sale. So you do want to, there's some things that we need to investigate when this happens, especially with younger folks. Like you want to find out as soon as possible, like, are they still paying the gear off or do they own the gear? We're going to tie back in a speed test and talk about how we can tie in a speed test to show them that their upload sucks and it's like 9 or like 18. But you see 4 cameras right here, all of which are using about 5 megabits a second of continual upload. So if you have 15 for the house, but you have cameras on the front porch alone that need 20, does your camera suck? Because you don't even have enough juice to run them. It's like trying to drive a car with no oil in it. Yeah, they do suck. Yeah, well, I would figure since you have a fraction of the megabits a second you even need to run these cameras. Do you have some in the back too? Right. And you guys like ever try to add an attachment to an email or play Xbox or video call on your phone or Wi-Fi call on your phone or basically do anything on the internet? How does it work, right? If you really want security, why don't we give you 800 megabits a second so you can add 100 cameras on your house and use 500 megabits a second upload and still have 240 megabits a second left, 20 times what you even have now total for half the price. Then you can have as many cameras as you want. And they're going to be seamless digital 1080 4K, instantaneous. Do you actually want security over here? Or do you just want to have cameras so it looks like you have security? Because I know these don't work. When I rang your doorbell, man, it didn't even make noise for 45 seconds. By then I could have broken your whole house. No, obviously I'm not going to, but I would hate to see that happen because you don't even have internet that can support a security system, just a basic one over here, let alone if you guys ever wanted to upgrade. Right? That's kind of a scare tactic, but it's true. Their security is fucking pointless on copper. It doesn't have the upload speed to power the cameras. And how many times do you ring a ring, then a minute into your pitch, it finally rings? Right? That's how delayed their security is. Absolutely pointless. Right? So we'll get more into all those details next week and break those down into little pieces and all this stuff, but that's where we're kind of headed. Same thing on the TV part. I'm going to break that down into the details of, okay, so once they're kind of like sold on this idea that fiber cable might be better than streaming, like then how do you break that down into all these little tools, tricks, speed tests? Here, let me show you the TV part of our website and exactly how you're going to figure out what stations to use. All the things that are going to reinforce and add value to that whole line of we've figured it all out. Okay, well, show me you figured it out. Okay, well, here, I'm going to show you we figured this out. We figured that out, this. You're going to have so many ways and tools and tactics and visuals to show them that we figured it out that you're never going to make it through them. They're going to be happily overwhelmed that you have such a plethora of ways you figured it out. They're just going to trust you on the rest. I think you're right. You did figure it out. Good Lord. Let's do it. Right? And you're going to get them from the same thing every week. The point is the same. You want them to get them from absolutely never, leave my door, you're annoying me, to no, to not yet, to maybe not, to could be soon, to actually, I see what you mean, while you're down here already and I can get it for free, to, you know what, that actually sounds like a better deal, so maybe I do want it, to dang. Now that I fully get it, I'm glad I spent a minute with you. How soon could we actually get that in over here? Right? So, absolutely, I hate you to curious and excited to get it in. That's what we're going for. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you on that for today. This has been a lot of info, I feel like. I just went off for 45 minutes straight on you, so if you can remember anything, remember to call it fiber cable, not streaming TV, and remember to lead with the objection, and remember to, you know, make it so that the internet sale is off the table, and the only thing we're talking about now is TV. I know it's obvious down here to get the faster, more affordable internet. I mean, you guys aren't even working or making any more money. Everybody wants to save $1,000 a year for better internet. But, you know, you probably don't even use the internet realistically. So I know the thing holding everybody up last year was just that the streaming TV was so complicated sounding. Luckily, they got fiber cable, is what we call it now, totally figured out. It's exactly the same experience as what you have. It's just clearer and costs less. That's why we're coming back through, and everybody else who didn't get it before is getting signed up, on the schedule to go ahead and get a spot on the map to get installed next week. So they just wanted me to figure out if Wednesday or Thursday was best. Name, number, email, we'll get you done. We'll see you next week. Or, and I didn't even introduce myself, by the way. I'm no. What's your name, ma'am? Barbara? Barbara, nice to meet you. Great. Pleasure. Last name for you, Barbara? Great. And did you say Wednesday or Thursday, Barbara? You have a doctor appointment Wednesday? Great. We'll just do Thursday morning. Thursday morning, good? Yeah, okay, great. Do you have an email, Barbara, right? That's all you need for the whole freaking pitch, and then just sign them up. Boom. Lead with the objection. Isolate the objection. Bandwagon what the neighbors felt found. Throw streaming under the bus. Now we have fiber cable. It's all perfected. All your objections are gone. There's nothing left to say. What day do you want? They didn't send me over here to see if you want a day. They didn't send me over to see if there was a good day. They didn't send me over to see what a better day was. They didn't send me over here to see if you're available. There's just two choices. Did you want Tuesday or Wednesday? They sent me over here to see if you wanted Tuesday or Wednesday. That's what we have left. Pick one. You're obviously doing this. Okay? So anyway, be confident, guys. Go in service. Be freaking nice to people. People have problems. People are suffering. And they're not making very much money. And we're trying to save them money to give them better quality of life. So just be nice.